Hello, and welcome to the Hill Law Group podcast with attorneys Meredith Hill and Ericca Pearson. We are attorneys at the Hill Law Group, which is an estate planning firm located in Bethesda, Maryland, and we serve clients throughout Maryland, DC, and Virginia. And one of the great things that we like to do as a part of our firm is to educate the community about estate planning and the importance of estate planning. And one of the ways that we do that is through this wonderful podcast. So each week we focus, or each episode we focus on a different topic. And today's topic is godparents are not guardians. Yes. God,
Not officially. Not if you
yeah,
got to do some official stuff to make your godparents guardians.
exactly. So that's just something that we've seen a lot of when speaking with people. It's that they naturally assume that, oh, I named a godparent for my child, therefore that person will serve as a guardian to their child. And that is not the case. And so we want to put out an episode or put out some more information about why that is not the case and how you can make it the case. If you want those people to be the guardians of your children, um, the steps that you need to take to make that happen. Yeah. Okay.
So I think the wonderful thing that happens when we have children is, and we kind of think about it, or at least I did, when you're carrying your child, is who's going to be the godparents of my children? And generally, when you think about godparents, you are thinking about who will step into my shoes if something were to happen to me. That's like worst case scenario. You think about a lots of other little cutesy things. Are they going to show up at the baptism? They're going to show up at their birthday. And you often say, these are the godparents, as if you are announcing it to the world to be sure that everybody knows if something happens to me, that these are the people that you should be looking to take care of my children. However, you can't just announce it. You can't just, when you're introducing your baby or at their birthday parties. And funnily enough, one of the ways that came up for me is that my baby cousin, who is now an adult, they were talking about who his godparents are. And I jokingly said, we don't need the godparents anymore. He's an adult. But it made me got me to thinking that people just assume that when you say, these are the godparents, this is my child's godparents, that everybody knows that this is going to be the people who are going to step in if something happens to me. But you've got to do things legally in order to name your godparents as the guardians of your children.
Yes, you do, Ericka Pearson. And let me ask you, Ericka Pearson, attorney at law, what are those things that you must do to make sure that your godparents, if you want them to be your guardians for the children, how do you make them into guardians?
So, huge thing. If you've got children under the age of 18, putting your estate plan together should be top of mind. Okay. And one of the ways that you do that is in your will. Your will is the document where you name the guardian or guardians of your children. So you definitely want to be sure that if you have an 18-year-old or younger child, that you name the people to step into your shoes if something were to happen to you. Now, that definitely could be the people who you've announced as the guardians of, or the godparents. I'm doing it. The godparents of your children. So it's definitely a role that could be made into a legal role. So when you say that these are the godparents of your children, you just want to be sure that you've got a will and you name those individuals either. And generally what we suggest is if it's a married couple, that you probably want to list either one before the other, that you don't want them listed jointly, and we don't want to put any bad mojo out there. But in the chance that these people get divorced, you want to be sure that if they're named jointly, that there aren't any issues because they've gotten divorced or there's some issues. You want to name people in the order that you want them to serve. And so generally what I suggest, and this is what happens in my family, that aunts and uncles are named as guardians of your children, right? In my family, I would probably tell them, name your blood relative as the guardian of your child. And really, kind of naturally, that married person comes along with you naming your blood relative, your brother, your sister as the godparent slash guardian of your child, that their spouse comes along with them. So that's just one of the things that I would suggest as well. But the way that you get your godparents to become legal guardians or to be named legal guardians if something were to happen to you is that you put your will together. And certainly but happy to help you do that. And you name those godparents. And we would say also get some backups to those godparents as well. Just on the off chance something happens to them, we want to be sure that somebody is listed there to be named as the guardian of your children if you have
Mm-hmm.
children under the age of 18.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just in case they are not there or they're not in a position to be guardians. If that time comes, you want to make sure that you have a backup just in case. And with that, we like to tell people to make sure that they are having these conversations with whoever they want to name as guardians to make sure that they actually want to serve in that role.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't want them to have to, we're hoping that this clause of your will never has to come into fruition, but it does sometimes. And we want to make sure whoever you name as your guardian for your children is willing to serve and understands the responsibility that they're about to take on or that they would potentially take on. Um, and I think we should touch on what happens, dive more into what happens if you don't have this document in place. And if you don't have your guardians named, what happens is the court, so the judge in the black robe, who you do not know, and this person does not know your family, will select someone. And it'll likely be someone that you know, but it may not be the person that you want to serve as guardian for
Or the
your
person
child.
that's best for your kids.
Exactly, the person that's best for your children, who knows them, that understands them, that you've had discussions with, that understands how you want your children raised. Um, and the court will find someone in your family, most likely in your family, to take over and step into the guardianship role for your children. And we don't like that for our clients because it takes the control out of their hands and it's not in the best interest of the child. And when we have clients that have minor children, the our main focus, yes, is passing down assets. Our number one focus is your children and to make sure that they're taken care of. So they have proper guardians and they have a flow of assets coming to them if needed. If something were to happen to you and your significant other. So that would be the case if you don't make plans for turning those godparents into guardians. I got it right this time. Is that the court would decide. Also, this would lead to potential fighting amongst family members
Mm-hmm.
because an aunt and grandma may be fighting about who's best to watch over your child,
Mm-hmm.
and that would cause animosity between them and years worth of drama,
And lots of money spent
and
in
lots of money spent. Yeah.
court. And
Mhm.
we're always, again, we're thinking about the best interest of your child. You want things to happen as quickly as possible. So you want, there's going to probably be just a little bit of a lag in time, not a long time for you to present the documents to indicate who should be the guardians of your children, right? And
Mhm.
so that's if you've done everything right. If you have people who are fighting in court, who knows how long that could take? A
Mhm.
year's time is a long time in a 5-year-old's life.
Mhm.
And so you don't want 5 years of that time, that they're living in kind of this tense um, um, atmosphere, first off. They may be going back and forth between the people who are fighting over your children. And that's absolutely the last thing that you want happening when you're not there. So they're grieving your loss. They don't really have any sense of this is where I'm staying, this is where I'm going to be. And, just think about it from a 5-year-old's perspective. Maybe they want to be with their grandmother, but the aunt is the one that has all of the resources and the energy, or
Mhm.
vice versa. And so there's no way to erase all of the issues that may come if your child is that they lose both parents or lose you and have to go with a guardian. But you want as best you can to try to make everything peaceful, calm, knowing that you have a plan, that there is a plan in place to take care of them. So
Mhm. Yes, yes, we want to make sure that you are calm and can rest knowing that you have a plan in
peace of
place.
mind, peace of
Peace
mind
of mind.
for
Yes.
you while you've made that decision. I joke about the fact that I believe that most people rest in peace. I believe, I don't know. But I think that the person who is deceased probably is at peace with the issues, that the ones who have to live with the decisions that you did or did not make, the plans that you did or did not make prior to you passing away.
Yeah.
You just you know, you can love beyond the grave. And our children, we say this a lot, that we talk about assets all the time, but the greatest asset that we have is our kids.
Mhm.
And so we want to make sure that we do any and everything to protect that asset, to make sure that that asset is very well planned for and very well taken care of.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. I agree with all of that you said. So, our message today is simple, and it's godparents are not guardians unless you have them specifically named in your will. And we also advise that you don't name them, if it's a married couple, we don't name them together. We name them one and then the other. Okay, well, that's a short and sweet episode for you today.
Oh, it was
We hope
pretty
that you learned
informative. Hopefully it was
and
pretty.
informative. Yes, informative, straight, short and sweet and to the point. And so if you want to learn more about our firm or about estate planning, you can visit our website at www.thehilllawgroup.com, or you can follow us on social media, so Instagram, Facebook, and now TikTok, at Hill Law Group. That's our tag, at Hill Law Group. So until next time, we will see you later. And have a great rest of your day.